This is the Blaze and Access podcast, amplifying disability perspective, one story at a time. I'm Blaze Bryant. It is great to be back, as it's been, well, a hot minute or a few months or several hot minutes. Anyhow, I hope you're doing well. And as part of July being Disability Pride Month, I wanted to talk and focus on stories of people who have acquired disabilities. In other words, they were not born with their disabilities. And leading this off is a good friend of mine, Taylor Lee Aguilar, who we met through Lights Camera Access, a program that we completed in June. And she has a really cool documentary out that, admittedly, I need to see the whole thing still. It is called Taylor's Vision, and it's available on PBS. Taylor, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for giving me a few minutes here. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Blaze, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That Taylor's Vision on PBS has a audio description, so hopefully you were able to access that, and I hope it's good.
Yeah. I in the quite a few PBS documentaries that I've been able to catch, the audio descriptions, they do a pretty solid job on them, even though...
Oh, that's good to know. I'll pass that along to them.
Yeah, kudos to them, and that they're still able to provide them, even though they don't get any money from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting anymore, which, as an NPR geek, two-time intern at my local NPR station, it's just heartbreaking. But that's, I could decide on
journalism. Support all the news people.
That's right. Support journalism.
Independent journalism. Public PBS, support them.
That's right. NPR. Yeah. And actually, I'll start there because that was one of the first common threads that we figured out about each other, is that we both studied journalism and news and that sort of thing. And neither one of us are really doing it anymore.
It's funny, yeah, because I definitely found myself in the journalism program at Colorado State University in Fort Collins. Go Rams. I was sighted back then. Actually, I was part of the blind community, but didn't know it since I was 13. I lost vision in my left eye, most of it at least. I had no center vision or peripheral. But by the time I went to CSU and I was in the journalism program, I remember talking to my doctor from Children's Hospital who worked with me throughout that whole time up until I was about 21. And he was like, I think I was on campus talking to him on the phone. Like, he said, no, there's no reason for us to see you again. You're all in the clear. Like, just go live your life, do well in school. And I was like, good. Never want to go to the doctors again.
Yeah.
And I love the journalism program. One of my uncles, he was getting his master's at the same time I was an undergrad. And one of his grad school friends was like, you need to go into the journalism program. They have like a whole newsroom, studio, television set down in the basement of Clark. And I was like, okay, that's like, sounds like the scariest building. And it still is like the oldest, scariest, most Jurassic building on campus. They're not going to give us a new building, but they cut off all the wings and gave everybody around us the new stuff. But whatever, it's how journalists have always been treated. It's like one of the things I loved most about learning about journalism was like, okay, you see the first responders and then you see the reporters, and they're the ones going in after going into the story, into the eye of the storm, and I always liked that because, in the movies or the stories are usually following some sort of journalist or reporter saying, what is happening live in the eye of the storm. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that, but I'm not going to be on camera. I'm going to be behind the camera. And I always championed all my friends who want to be in front of the camera and was never felt comfortable doing that. I even went to film school after undergrad at Loyola Marymount University and studied film and television production there. And I had to be in the front of the camera a couple times. And I just wanted to be a team player. So I was like, okay, I'm going to I'm going to be confident enough to feel okay to stand in or be in the background or say a line if I need to, but I'm not going to ever feel comfortable being the person in front of the camera. And then now here I am, totally blind, and I'm in front of the camera all the time. And I'm like, screw it, whatever. Blind people need to be seen because we're out here. There's a lot of us, and I want to hear more of our stories.
Absolutely. It's so interesting you're talking about the camera here. So I actually am going to start doing more video stuff here, and I'm going to upload the video of this to YouTube, and Taylor's here on the phone. So that's why if you're watching on YouTube, you're not seeing her here.
Sorry, people. You're just gonna have to imagine me, like that's a blind experience there. I'm giving you a firsthand experience of what it's like to be blind. Sometimes you don't have the answers. Sometimes you don't see all the details. So there you go. Use your imagination, people.
That's right. You're getting the whole blind experience here. One more blind person and we'll have the 3 blind mice, right?
For sure. I'll just bring in my partner, Tommy. He's a great third person to walk around and travel with.
There you go. There you go. So let's get back to you, and we'll stop being selfish. And well, we can't stop being blind, but we can stop being selfish. But you said that you lost your sight or started losing sight in your left eye when you were 13. Which is not that there's ever necessarily a good time to go from being sighted to being blind, but especially becoming a teenager and everyone in school is changing, and it's just those teenage years.
It's not cool to be different. It's not cool to be different when you're a teenager.
No.
It's way cool. In hindsight, to the teenagers out there, in hindsight, it is actually way cooler to be different. So all these adults out here want to be different, want to stand out, want to be special. So hold on to that, teenagers. Like, let yourself be different because that's what makes you shine.
10,000%. And now that both of us are parents, I would like to think that people of our generation will encourage our kids to embrace that different. But obviously, when you and I were in high school and whatnot, because we are the same age pretty much, that wasn't the case. So how did you both deal with the adjustment of your vision loss and also this reality of I'm different and people are not seeing me for me?
Yeah, I don't think I really processed it when I was a kid. When I was 13, I just asked if I could drive. That's all I asked the doctor. Can I still drive? And they said yes. In Colorado, you can still drive with one good eye. And at the DMV, they honestly never, they did an eye test and everything, but I never told them, specifically what was going on. I just passed the eye exam, and I had my glasses. So I had to wear glasses all for really the first time. I had reading glasses sometimes before that, but I had to wear 24/7 glasses. And so that was the biggest adjustment, was being seen as somebody with wearing glasses, because I wasn't before. So everyone, they just saw that difference in me. And my mom tried to get me to wear sports glasses when I did cheerleading and we threw stunts and stuff. She was like, don't hit her in the eye. She only has one good eye. I'm like, Mom, please stop being embarrassing and not wearing those ugly glasses. No offense to anybody out there who needs to wear them. Wear them. They're good for you. But I just didn't want to be different. And so when I would sometimes get the itch to research my condition. I had optic nerve neuritis. It was inflammation of my nerve. Basically, my nerve just got mad for some reason, and it got so bad in my left eye that it left me blind. But my right eye, I guess they stopped it, but I didn't even know that it was inflamed back then. And then when I was 27 and they said, finally, like it was in the middle of the pandemic. Like the beginning part of it, I drove out to Colorado from Los Angeles, and that was my first cross country drive by myself. I always had a person with me on my other road trips, and I did it. I stayed with some family, and I remember like the whole ride, the whole drive, just really soaking it all in and loving all of the spaces. And I remember seeing this like one bridge in Arizona, like it was like a very small, like backwoods bridge. I don't know exactly. I don't know where it was. I don't know what it's called, but I just remember seeing it, and it was like this little thing that I saw. I thought it was really cute, and I told myself like, to remember this spot because it's a pretty spot. It doesn't exist in your everyday life, but it always exists out there. So just kind of like I used it to kind of ground myself, I guess, when I would think back to that trip and be like, oh, remember that one little spot that still exists?
Mm.
And I still think about it now that I'm blind. I'm like, okay, like I did drive. That wasn't a dream. Like my first 27 years of life wasn't a fever dream. Like it kind of felt like my blindness became a fever dream. But then I've now that I've gotten so much blind independent skills and training under my belt and I'm more independent 6 years later, I feel like the biggest thing I wish I could have given myself when I was 13 was the community of blindness and the disabled community. I really wish the doctors would have said, like, you're part of the disability community, or you can be considered disabled to some groups, or we know whatever, like government wise, I wasn't disabled or whatever. Like there's so many weird loops and things to jump through and all this stuff when it comes to disability. But for me, I just really wish I could tell my 13-year-old self that I wasn't alone, that there was other kids going through this. Because when I saw somebody with a cane, then I saw somebody talking about low vision, it was so nice.
Sure.
It was so comforting to be like, oh, I maybe other people will understand that sometimes my eyes hurt so bad that I feel like they're gonna pop out of my head, you know? Like I feel like sometimes I've met some blind people now that are like, yeah, I had something going on around that age too, or I've, dealt with this or that, that it comes with. And I I think my whole life would have been obviously different if I had lost all my vision when I was 13 versus when I was 27. But what really pisses me off is like, why? Why would it have had to be different? Like, and that just really gets me is like, I want people, because I think I was a compassionate person to the disabled community. I thought like, I would never if I saw somebody in the hallway from like the special ed classes, I would always say, hey, I'd always try to stop in and see if I could do something. In middle school, we had like a volunteer program where you could go and hang out with the special ed kids and stuff like that. And I learned that that was like not in every school. So I don't know. Like, I want to, I I don't know. It's so complicated because I've had so many feelings since I lost all my vision when I was 27. I felt very much like, why can't anybody see me as me anymore? Um,
Mm-hmm.
why can't anyone, like, I'm still the same person. I was, I just lost all my vision, but yet I'm so different, right? Like, this changed my whole life. So, in ways that I did change completely, as far as like my confidence of needing to be somebody who stands up tall and goes outside and feels like an assertive person, because if you go outside and you're not standing up tall and you look like you're lost or whatever, like I just feel like a moving target, you know? So have being able to find blind friends who told me like, hey, my first mobility coach, he said, you got to stand up straight when you walk outside. You got to keep your head up high. You got to, keep your shoulders up, shoulders back, because people are going to want to mess with you, and you need to present yourself as if you know what's going on. And if you need help, you got to know how to ask for help in the right way, or like instead of asking, hey, how do I get to this place, instead you routed out this space, that you did all this forethought before you walk outside. You kind of know where you're going, and then you can ask, hey, is this facing the north side of the bus stop or something? Like you can ask more specific questions to the side of people around you instead. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's a little bit of a runoff, but I'm grateful that my total blindness has given me the disabled and blind communities, that I feel so immersed into it now, that I wish that I could have given that gift to myself and my family when I was 13, because I think it would have answered a lot of questions. It would have made me do things differently and made me see myself in a better light, and made my family understand that there are differences with me and my low vision, but instead of seeing it as like a crutch or something that I was like ashamed of, maybe they could have understood me better and helped me, like, oh, this is why Taylor likes the lights on at golden hour. My dad would get so mad that I'd turn on the lights during golden hour, like the sun setting, and he's like, the sun's still up, keep the lights off. I'm like, I can't see shit, Dad. Like, but I can't tell him that. Like, I don't know. I didn't have the information to say, Dad, what are you saying? I have one eye. Like, come on, give me the
Yeah.
light.
Right. It's all just so interesting being blind people in a very sighted world. And just to go back to that point of what you were saying before about asking for help, which is so incredibly difficult to do. I've actually found it to be more difficult as time has gone on when you're out and about, because you don't know you don't know what people are doing. The world certainly is not as safe. Yeah, we have tools in our toolbox, whether it be apps like Be My Eyes or Ira or GPS apps.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is sometimes things just don't work. It's technology, and you have to rely on other people. Tell you this story because it happened to me a few weeks ago. So I was going to the bank, or trying to go to the bank, and we had a very tricky crossing to do. It was like 85 degrees and humid. I wanted to go earlier. It just wasn't in the cards. And we got a little bit disoriented, and eventually I was able to figure out where I needed to go. And I had a cop come up to me and say, I just want to make sure everything's all good. Someone was, concerned that you were walking back and forth across the road and stuff, and yada, yada, yada. So they actually had to take down my information. And I'm just like, really?
What the hell?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, I don't know why. And
That's stupid.
yeah, like, this is the shit that we deal with. And it's just,
Well, what did he think? Like you were faking it and you were having a mental crisis
no,
or
no,
something?
I really think the cop was coming at it from the right place. It's one of those things. You get a call. The guy came up, introduced himself, officer so and so, and I mean asked me the right questions and stuff. And like I said, I truly think he was coming at it from the right place. But okay, we got to call the cops because of a lost blind guy and his seeing eye dog. That's to me where the rub is, and
Hmm.
and it's just
And where were you? Where are you located? What
yeah,
town
yeah,
were
well,
you
yeah.
in?
I was near my house here in upstate New York in the capital
Hmm.
region here, and I just it's I feel like the biggest issue now asking for help from people when you're out and about is a do they really know the proper etiquette for guiding a person? Much of the time
Hmm.
they don't. B,
Mm-mm.
people feel like you're either a charity case or you're going to cause this giant inconvenience. Now, don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
I have gotten wonderful help from people before,
Hmm.
but it's just lately
It's
it
more rare.
feels, yeah, lately it just feels like a freaking chore.
Hmm. Yeah. And like it's 85 degrees. You had your dog, like you were trying to get someplace and you didn't get there, I'm assuming.
No, I didn't get there because we missed the bus and it would have been a bit of a wait, and it was just too damn hot. So we just went back
Hmm.
home. And the other thing about the bus stops and stuff that you were talking about, the north side of the bus stop. Unfortunately, people don't quite have the grasp of the cardinal directions.
No, I didn't know when my mobility coach took me outside and said, we're going to learn cardinal direction on the wall. What? What does that mean? And he's like, north, south, east, west. I'm like, oh, okay. So you're going to expect me to know that? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I wish I never took Girl Scouts. I never like had somebody like I'm from Colorado, so we just know that west is where the mountains are. So you can line yourself there and but you can't see the mountains every place you're at. Like I don't have a perfect view of the mountains every time. So when I drive, I had no idea where I was. So now that I'm a blind person and I know my cardinal directions, I am so much more in it with where I'm at. Like I know like if I go somewhere like with my family, I don't know where I'm at ever. Like it drives me nuts. But when I'm like in charge and I know I'm going out and I'm like, hanging out with my blind friends or gonna go meet one of them or something like that, and we all route each other, that's when I know I'm like in charge. Like I feel like I can mentally map in my head like where I'm at, and I never had that skill as a sighted person. And I'm like, my brain had to like make those neural pathways since I've been blind. And my brain is like constantly on fire because like I didn't do Girl Scouts. I'm not like a natural Girl Scout. No way. I was like forced into having a Girl Scout, Boy Scout brain. Like, and I'm grateful for it. Like now that I've gotten independence training with blind school, I'm like, this is the stuff that the general public really needs. Like they need to know how to clean, cook, budget, do their personal finances and whatever else you learn at blind school, like those things, like they gutted the public school system of all those cool home ec classes and shop classes and stuff. And it's like, but those were the best things. A part of my blind school experience was learning how to, fix my own refrigerator, learning how to work my laundry machines properly with just like using bump dots. Like I was just like, oh wow, like I can still go and microwave my own food with bump dots. Like that was a huge moment when I put bump dots on my microwave. And I was just like, this is maddening because it's just microwaving my stupid food. Like, but it's so exciting because I could do it on my own, didn't have to feel humiliated asking my family to help me, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
those skills are just so important. And I feel like a better person now that I have those skills, but it took me losing all my vision to get there.
Right. You quite literally have a foot in both the sighted and blind worlds. And you're absolutely right. Now, I didn't necessarily go to blind school. I did like these different programs for the
Mhm.
blind throughout the summers, and
Different
I did
independence
summer.
training and stuff, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you had you had to figure it out differently because you had been born with blindness. So like people must have treated you differently since birth, don't you think?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. It My family was pretty good. Now when I see them, it's almost like they either forget or they just become a little overprotective at times. And it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, let me do this. Let me do this. Because it's like, okay, well, you really don't get that opportunity anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
it's it's just so interesting how families can be. And even, and I mentioned this when I was on your podcast a few weeks ago, how people, when I would visit my hometown, there'd be this guessing game of, hey, you know who I am, and yada, yada, yada. The stuff that,
So most that
yeah,
people do that game with sighted people. They put their hands over your face and then they say, guess who I am? And I hated that game when I was sighted. So like it's very like if you imagine yourself as a sighted person, if you're listening and you're sighted and you don't like that game, just imagine somebody doing that to you all of the time. It's so annoying. It's like one of those games that your old uncle plays with you, you know, like your uncle, like my uncle would like, what's on your shirt? And then, flick my nose or whatever when you look
yeah,
down. Like it's that kind of game. But like when it's everyone playing this quote unquote game with you every day, and you said that somebody did that at a funeral,
yeah, my
and you're
grandmother's
like,
funeral.
really?
Yeah,
Time and place, people. Come on. Like you're talking about etiquette, like how to help somebody with a disability with the etiquette of like walking them across the street or something. It really just starts with, hey, can I assist you? And then that blind person can be the leader then and say yes or no, or yes, can you please, can I grab your elbow, or can you just talk to me as we walk across the street? Like let that person be the leader in however you're trying to assist with them. But
right.
like like there's no etiquette in this world, but like it's kind of creepy though to think about etiquette sometimes because the way that, like the rich try to like make everyone have this type of etiquette world that only rich people are involved in, and then like the barbaric poor people, like there's the peasants that are eating with their feet or whatever it is, like eating with their hands and feet. It's like, okay, come on people, like there is a time and place for everything, right? But like I want there to be an etiquette training that's more informal, that's like for anyone, not just for the elite or the best of the best or any of that. It's just like being a just genuinely good person, right? Just having like some back pocket questions, be like, hey, can I assist you? And then being okay with yes or no or whatever it is, and not calling the freaking police on somebody who was trying to cross the street, instead being like, yo, dude, you okay? You good?
Right, right. So I want to go back to
Sorry.
Taylor Lee Aguilar's with me here on the show. No, you're good. This is just me and how I roll and do things. So you
Yeah.
were just talking about the etiquette and stuff, and a little bit ago you talked about how you were the person that would go and make a point out of saying hi and stuff to the special ed classes and whatnot. When you were in a position to offer help, was that your approach of, hey, what can I do to support you?
I don't even know if I knew that back then. I mean, I didn't have any blind friends in my special ed classrooms.
Right, or
They were all
even
different.
right, even beyond blindness.
Yeah, so like they could all see me. So
Yeah.
that's I think people freeze when you can't see them. Like they're like, what do I do? Because I was just listening in the Body Keeps Score, the book that talks about how the body keeps trauma and all of that. And there's a part where he talks about nonverbal communication, and that's how 90% of communication is done is through
Yeah.
nonverbal communication, and like caring and disapproval and like some other kind of word, I think something like that, is those things are determined through nonverbal communication. So like I'm always asking my family, like, does anyone care what I'm saying right now, or is it falling on deaf ears? Like, is anyone picking up what I'm saying? Like, I need verbal feedback. And they're like, what, Taylor, do you want me to say everything I'm doing right now? I'm like, yeah, I actually do. That would be awesome. Like, can you tell me I'm throwing the trash right now? Yeah, I'm going to answer the phone. I'm going to get on this call real quick. Like, can you say those things to me? Because it does make a huge difference. Like, yeah, and it is kind of maddening to have to do that, have to pivot yourself to give verbal feedback all the time. But I'm with my partner now, and he's total with me. We both lost our vision in 2020, met each other at Colorado Center for the Blind.
That one time at blind
The
school.
yeah, the best love making machine out there is go find a friend out there if you want to by going to blind school. You'll meet all sorts of people and surely fall in love or hook up a couple times with whoever you want, whatever your mojo is. But
A
no,
blind
anyway,
love
so
story starring Taylor and Tommy,
oh
available
yeah.
on Hallmark December 17th. No,
I don't know. I don't know. It was a little more PG-13 than Hallmark. I don't know. I don't know if we could do that. I was like the most rebellious I ever was as a blind person in blind school, because I was like, "Oh, I didn't get to do this when I was 13. I was too scared and worried, and I never rebelled when I was a teenager. So I used my blind school days. Oh gosh, that's a whole other story. But anyways, I'll go back to the special ed room. When I would go into the special ed room, I would just like try to just be a friendly face, and like if I don't know if I had the confidence back then. Like I remember there was jerks at school who would, from middle school through high school, like would just pick on these kids, like they'd tease them, they'd like have a joke around them, like this girl would have a crush on this, popular boy, whatever, this jerk, and this jock who would mess with her sometimes, and they would like she'd have a crush on him, and he wasn't doing it to be sweet. He was doing it to be rude and like to make fun of her. And
yeah.
I wish I could have had the confidence to be like, fuck off, dude. Like, stop messing with her. And then been like, come on, girl, let's go eat lunch together. Like, I wish I had the confidence to do that. When I hear, somebody messing with me now, I see it as more it being a reflection of them than what it is to me, because I'm an adult and I can think that way now. But like, I definitely have grown as a more confident person since I've been a total blind person, because it was like do or die, like either you're going to do this or you're going to never walk out of your house and never feel comfortable doing anything, and so I had to straighten up and get some more confidence. And I feel like, Blaze, I was just told this year that I have an option maybe in the next 5 years to get this stem cell surgery and eye transplant surgery, where I'd potentially get my vision back in both of my eyes. And I'm not going to go into it expecting anything. I think that's like, based off my research, the best way to go about it, if I do this surgery, to just go in expecting nothing. And if I get anything, great. But I was thinking about it, and it's been really tumultuous in my inner conflict inside of me. It's just been like, ever since he told me that, like I was really mad at first. Like, don't tell me that because I don't want to know because he said 3 to 5 years and I'm saying like 5 to 10 years maybe in my brain. And I at first I didn't want to talk to my family about it. And then I read the book Crashing Through, talking about Mike May and his story of receiving a stem cell and eye transplant in one of his eyes and how he basically is experiencing low vision as an adult, a grown person now. And he was in his 40s when he had the chance to get that surgery. And that was in the 90s. And now here we are in 2026. And so I've seen the research. I've used my journalism. I put my journalism cap on and I research as much as I can. And based off of Mike May's story, he went in really just being curious and not expecting vision to fix everything. With him, his brain didn't develop sight the way most people do because he lost his vision when he was 3 years old. So when he's a toddler, your brain's still developing so much that when when he experienced low vision after the surgery, he it was like more about the brain development, seeing if it could ever get to the place where most sighted people are when their brain is fully developed and all of that sort of thing. It's a very good read. I highly recommend everyone going and reading it. Mike May's a great person, but like I took it as like, oh well, if let's just say ideally I get all my vision back, right? I'm afraid that I'm going to look in the mirror and hate myself and just like judge myself and the world the way I used to when I was sighted. And I think sighted people have this issue where they're looking at themselves and judging the world so much that they're not actually like experiencing it and experiencing themselves and experiencing like life because they're so critical of themselves and people and the world that it's hard to take in the beauty at times because it is some things are ugly out there. Some things are not easy to look at, And
A lot of things
unfortunately,
aren't,
yeah,
especially you see things on social media and the news and just all
yeah,
the
it's
stuff
scary.
that, yeah, and I've been asked countless times, if you had the opportunity to see, would you take it? And I can
Mm,
unequivocally say no, because
yeah.
then I'd have to learn how to read and write. That's usually the first
Mm-hmm.
thing I say, because
Mm-hmm.
that putting it in that frame makes people realize, oh God, like it's not just, hey, you get
Mm-hmm.
this sight and you know what everything is.
Well, that's what the issue is, right? Because the predecessors of Mike May, he's like the 20th person on like record in all of humanity to get his vision back. So it's like a huge case, right? Like a huge medical phenomenon that he actually got some vision back in one of his eyes and yet because his brain didn't develop like can it, there's all these like brain questions, right? But like his predecessors, a bunch of them had really bad mental crises when they gained their vision. And it was because for one woman, she was totally blind, never got blind skills, never was given blind skills, independence as a blind person. And then when she was, you know, like probably in her 50s or 60s, she got her vision back. And then they were like, okay, well, now you're off welfare and now you could go and get a job now. And she was like, I don't have any sighted skills. I don't know how to read or write. I don't know how to do anything. And she killed herself. And it was just
Mm.
like, that's like the reality it is like, it's not as easy as people think it is. Like, I mean, blindness is no joke. But sightedness isn't either. And I feel like sighted people think it's superior, but really I feel like the gifts that I've been given I mean, there's been so much trauma and stuff, but the gifts that I've been given of my family being able to support me and the Colorado Center for the Blind being able to give me blind skills and the confidence that I've gotten in myself and the feeling of strength that I have in my life. I I want to get in a good enough place with my mental health where I'm not going to look in the mirror when I gain my vision back and hate myself, like cuz I would just pick at myself so much that I wouldn't even go outside and enjoy the sunsets that I miss so much. I would like I I think about all the moms who have sight and they look at their kids and they're sad for me because I can't see my kid, which yeah, I'm sad for myself that I can't see my kid's beautiful face. But
Yeah,
like
I feel that too. Believe you me.
I I get to spend so much tactile in-person time with her where I am like her person and she knows me and she is my best guide because not because she needs to be, but because she knows how to be a good person and how like to read what I need and what her daddy needs and we know what she needs at different times and we meet her needs and we're able to do that without our sight. It's such a gift that I'm like honestly if I were to lose that confidence and not be able to, you know, I don't know really what I'm saying, but like, I don't want to give that up to gain my vision, you know?
Right. So I was just going to ask you, then why even pursue the option? Because it's not a guarantee.
Right.
The risks, are they worth the reward of vision and being able to see certain things? But then at the same time, it's not just the consequences of judging yourself in the mirror, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also seeing these horrendous things that you went, what, about 10 years
Mm-hmm.
without seeing?
Oh, I haven't had to see some ugliness. I don't have to see the ugly people on the screen that I don't want to see. Let's just say that.
Well, not just the ugly people, but just some of the
The
horrendous
ugly
things that are,
acts
yeah.
life is gross and messy and ugly. And when I was living in Los Angeles, as like when I went back after I was total because I was living there for film school before and after my blindness. And when I went after, I was like, I don't miss seeing Los Angeles one bit because it is one ugly place. But you know what I miss the most is I miss art. I miss people's faces first. I miss people's faces. I miss art, but I've experienced art in so many new ways that I like I miss being able to do things fluidly in my life because I look at you and you're in the background doing all these things so fluidly because you have these skills that I'm working to get. Like I'm trying over here. It's been 6 years. And I'm like, I'm able to open my phone, get on an audiobook, like email some people if I need to. And then my brain is kind of like fuzzy, like it's just like on fire so much because I'm doing things. But as long as I keep doing that little by little, I think in the next year I'll be able to do so much more, right?
Well, for sure. I mean, don't forget too, I've got a bit more practice than you.
Exactly. Yeah.
and and
And that's
and
what
and right, and also too, Taylor, don't put a timeline on it. It
it's
it
so
happens.
hard. It's my anxiety. That's like, Taylor, what if you die tomorrow? What if everything explodes tomorrow? I'm like, okay, get it all done now. Like that's like my catastrophic anxious mind. And that's like kind of, also my mental health.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of my journalism brain. Let's if it doesn't make sense, you cut all of this. But basically, how I'm kind of this is me like saying it out loud. And I used to be able to write it down and then think, like, oh, is that what's in my head right now? But now I have to kind of say it out loud. And then as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, weird. But I'll just say this. So I I've gained so much since I've been blind with my medical, like Medicaid and Medicare, right? I got onto Medicaid and Medicare after I was off of my college insurance and I, became totally blind and disabled. And now I got my loans forgiven because of all of that. I've got like 200 grand worth of loans for student loans. And
Crip
um,
perks.
yeah, I got that. So at least my blindness is worth 200 grand to me, I guess. I don't know. But
100,000 an eye. Yeah.
yeah, if I were to if I were to gain my vision back, I'd have to, I'd have to pay back my student loans. That's in the fine print of the contract I signed. So I would have to pay all that money back.
Mhm.
And then I'd have to pay probably, I don't know if I'm still on Medicaid or Medicare when I have the surgery. Maybe they'll pay for it, but if I get the surgery, it's going to be like, I have heard that each eye is like 200, 300 grand. Like it's crazy. So I know in Mike May's circumstance, his insurance paid for it or something. So I'm like thinking, okay, I kind of want to do like this. Okay, I met Stevie Wonder this year at the CSUN Adaptive Technology event, and that was like my peak of 2026.
Right. That's
where
one of
I'm
the,
like,
just for people who don't know, it's one of the big blind tech conferences.
yes, it was so, and I went not because I'm a tech head, but because I needed to meet Stevie Wonder, and that was my mission, and I did it.
That's awesome.
And his son remembers me, and yeah, I'm like trying to see if Stevie and his team will get behind my television show called The Blind Movement, where we are going to show people how we travel and go meet more blind people and stuff. Because my heart and soul, because when I was in the hospital going total, losing all my vision in 2020, I told myself, okay, everyone was saying, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. We're going to save it. We're going to save it. And I knew I was going to be totally blind. Like I just knew it from the time I went to the hospital on May 18th, and they didn't actually tell me until July 9th when they gave me a surgery. So
right.
they were like, oh, you're probably going to be blind now. I'm like, yeah, I've known this for a while. Thanks for kind of like getting on board, people. So if I were like, I knew while I was, being operated on and all these things that my heart and soul is with the disabled community. My blind community is like where it's at. Like that's where I found the most joy, the most support, the most help is through the people who have gone through it before, who have fought for my rights as a person now. Like the people who have fought for the ADA, now we're celebrating 35, 36 years of that now, right? Like it's huge. Like that, like we were seen as less than second class citizens. We were not even supposed to be seen in the streets. There were like ugly laws or whatever.
Right. Well, which only got repealed like 50 years ago, Taylor. The ugly laws only got repealed like 50 years ago. We were viewed as like the untouchables from the India caste system type. It just
so disgusting.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. We as disabled folks, we get it. And we also know that anyone can join us at any time. So to that end, final thing is, what would you say to somebody that newly acquired their disability? If there's one piece of advice you could give them, what is it?
Oh my gosh. You're stronger than you think. You're stronger than you think. You just do the smallest thing that you don't think you can do and work on it. And then once you do it, you're going to be able to do so many more things, just little by little. Even if it's just walking to the bathroom, putting your arm up and bending down to check the counter with your arm, like you could put your arm in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
So when you bend over, you don't slam your face into the counter. That was like huge for me to be able to go into the bathroom and not slam my face on our countertops. Like just go to the bathroom, and when you bend over, put your arm in front of your face, and so your arm will hit the counter before you do. Or anytime you need to bend over, do that so then you don't hit your face first.
Yes.
That's what I would say for blind people, and then any other person who's going through any other ailments or disabilities. Like, yeah, you're stronger than you think, and that goes for anyone going through any struggles. If you lost a loved one, if you're losing a pet, if you're losing, your job, you're stronger than you think, people. And I don't know what I'm going to do with my sight, with the surgery thing, but I'm kind of wanting to like expose the whole like insurance. Not that people don't know that insurance in America sucks, but I kind of want to use my platform to show them like my experience through like the way that I've shown them how I've been a blind filmmaker and all of that. And so I kind of am just gonna go through, I feel like I'm gonna go through the surgery with the idea of what Mike May had with just being curious and seeing if it'll work. But then also if it works, I want to be in the disabled community. I am part of the disabled community. If it doesn't work, I want to be a part of the disabled community. I want to be a part of it. Like, I don't know. It's so convoluted. It's so messy. Life is so messy, but like, I'm so grateful for everyone who's fought and worked their asses off to fight for my rights. And I want to continue to be vocal and fight the good fight for all of us blind and disabled people and all the people that are hurting out there.
Absolutely. Well, Taylor Lee Aguilar, this is, as always, it's a thrill and a pleasure to talk with you, and keep doing what you're doing, and go check out Taylor's PBS documentary. It's about her, called Taylor's Vision. I'll link to it here in the show notes, and I'm really glad that Lights Camera Access LCA brought us together, because you are a dear friend to me, and I'm very grateful for the friendship that we have. So thank you so much, and just keep doing your thing.
You're awesome. Thank you for this experience. And yeah, check out my TikTok and Instagram and everything at Tay_Aggie, AGGIE_AGGIE. And the Blind Movement podcast is up on Spotify and Apple. And I have the blindeagleproductions.com is my website, and you can see all the other projects I've worked on, and tell me how I can be more accessible, or give me feedback, and tell me how we can support you as well. I want to support everyone in this community, and thanks for giving me this space, Blaze. You're awesome.
Hey, right back at you, Taylor. Thanks so much.
Okay, have a good one. Tell your boy and your girl, your lady, hello, and give your puppy a big squeeze for me.
Absolutely, will do.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
The Blazing Access podcast is a Blazing Shows production and is not affiliated with any disability rights organization. The views expressed here on the show are solely those of the host and the guest. The show is hosted and produced by me, Blaze Bryant. The music you heard on today's show is by Andre Lewis, who is blind. What did you think about this episode? Let me know on Facebook at Blazin' Shows. That's BLAISIN Shows. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, share, and support the show if you can on our website at blazinshows.com. Transcripts are automatically generated and are not perfect, but they will give you a baseline sense as to what was said here on the show. Tune in next time for another great episode of the Blazing Access podcast, amplifying disability perspective one story at a time. Have a great day.